this group accomplished that, a lot of people probably didn't think was possible, one, to start the season, and two, after the start we had to the season. So yeah, it'll definitely be probably a little weird for me over the course of the first couple weeks, and then I'm sure I'll get bored and pick up a basketball again. So
761 points, breaking the record once held by Simone Augustus. However, there is a caveat. Augustus set the mark back in 2006 when the WNBA regular season was just 34 games. Clark broke the record.
Caitlin Clark just dropped a bombshell. She's stepping away from basketball until April. That's over 200 days without the face of the WNBA touching the court, and fans are already losing their minds. Ryan Ruocco even confirmed it. No overseas ball, no off-season grind, nothing until spring. But here's where it gets messy. In her last game, Clark was straight up tackled to the ground. And shocker, no foul was called.
We don't want fans that are going to degrade us and call us names. I mean, we already see what's happening in the world and what we have to deal with in that aspect. And, we come to play basketball for our job and it's fun, but we don't want to go to work every day and have social media blown up over things like that. It's uncalled for, and something needs to be done, whether it's, them checking their fans or this league checking. There's no time for.
How many times do we have to see this? People are asking, can someone explain how that's not a foul? And then they answer their own question. Oh, wait, it's because it was Caitlin Clark. The double standard is glaring, and everybody knows it. Meanwhile, Alyssa Thomas had her own words after the game. She didn't celebrate the win. Instead, she went after Fever fans, saying she's tired of the slurs and disrespect. But here's the twist. When Angel Reese tackled her earlier this season, she had nothing to say. Quiet then, loud now. Funny how it's a whole different story when Caitlin Clark's name is in the mix. So now the question is loud and clear. Is Clark's choice to step back a career-defining move? By refusing to play overseas or jump into 3-on-3 ball, she's telling the world she's prioritizing her body, her mind, and her long-term legacy. The Fever, the league.
Allow me to publicly thank the Indiana Fever for putting up such a great fight tonight and for battling back again and again and again all season long. Let me thank Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell and all the rest for refusing to say die, refusing to lose, fighting back again and again and again, and playing at a much higher level than they should be at this stage and age. Was I ever entered?
And the fans are all about to find out just how much the WNBA feels without its brightest star lighting it up for the next 200-plus days. But here's the real question. What does this mean for the WNBA's future viewership and the bigger picture of women's sports? Caitlin Clark just pressed pause on her grind, and while some fans are shocked, it actually makes sense. She's been carrying a workload that most players wouldn't even survive. Think about it. Caitlin basically played an entire NBA-length season. 81 games in just 324 days, logging nearly 3,000 minutes on the floor. That's insane. Now let's rewind to her last game. And this wasn't just another matchup. This was a playoff war against the Connecticut Sun, a team built to crush underdogs. The Fever were outmatched on paper, but Caitlin came out like a star with everything to prove. Under that kind of pressure, she still dropped 25 points and handed out 9 assists, keeping Indiana alive when they should have been buried. But here's where it gets wild. If you actually watched, you know the box score doesn't even tell the story.
Basketball has really consumed my life for a year, so I feel like it'll be good for me to kind of reflect back on everything that's happened. Like, I feel like I didn't even have time to really reflect on my college career because it ended so fast. I feel like taking some time to myself and really enjoying that and reflecting back.
There's no place for it, and we've been professional throughout the whole entire thing, but I've never been called the things that I've been called on social media.
Caitlin should have had way more assists. She was dropping dimes left and right, putting her teammates in perfect scoring spots, and they kept blowing wide open layups. Fans were shaking their heads like, how many more perfect passes does she got to throw before somebody finishes? That game wasn't just about points. It showed off Caitlin's ridiculous playmaking vision. She was out there making everyone's job easier, creating buckets that never got cashed in. And yet, Despite her brilliance, Indiana's shots just weren't falling when it mattered most. The weight of that playoff game wasn't just on Caitlin Clark's shoulders. The entire Fever squad was staring down the Connecticut Sun, one of the most seasoned, playoff-tested teams in the league. And still, from the opening tip, Caitlin came out swinging. She attacked the rim, let it fly from deep, and carried herself like someone who refused to let the moment swallow her whole. Every move screamed confidence. She was giving Indiana a real shot to steal the game.
A lot of players, a lot of these wonderful ladies who bust their tail to make the WNBA what it was. Here's the reality. It wasn't what it is. The quality of basketball may have been up to snuff, and you had somebody as popular as Cheryl Swoops who had her own signature shoe, had to deal with Nike and all of this other stuff. But the bottom line is, very few people.
Sure, the night ended in heartbreak, but the season? That was legendary. This was the year Caitlin Clark stamped herself as one of the brightest, boldest stars the WNBA has ever seen. From her cold-blooded scoring to her unselfish playmaking, she became the heartbeat of Indiana basketball. The Fever weren't just running plays. They were running through Caitlin. Think about it. Every team in the league circled her name on the scouting report. Entire defenses were built just to slow her down. Coaches were tweaking their schemes mid-game just to contain her. And yet, night after night, Caitlin still found ways to torch them. That's superstar stuff. And let's talk about the range. She's not just hitting threes, she's pulling up from distances that make defenders look helpless. When she drains those deep bombs, defenses are forced to crowd her. And that's when the lanes open. With her speed and tight handles, she slices through defenders like it's nothing. But here's the kicker. Caitlin isn't just a scorer. She's also one of the league's slickest playmakers, throwing dimes that put her teammates in prime position to score.
A tough grader. I feel like I had a solid year, but for me, the fun part is I feel like I'm just scratching the surface, and I'm one that's nitpicking every single thing I do. And I know I want to, help this franchise get even better, help my teammates get even better, be better for my teammates. And I know there's a lot of room for me to continue to improve. So that's what excites me the most. I feel like I can continue to get a lot better. And before we know it, I'm sure we'll all be back here.
That balance, elite shooting mixed with elite vision, is exactly what separates her from the pack. She's not just another bucket getter, she's the total package, and that's why the entire league is watching her every move. While plenty of players are just chasing points, Caitlin Clark brings something different: vision. She sees the floor like few others in the game, and those 9 assists in her final matchup prove it. And let's be real, if her teammates actually finished the wide-open shots she handed them, that assist column could have easily been double digits. But here's where she really separated herself this season: leadership. Caitlin's still young, but she became the one her teammates leaned on when everything got tight. Big shot in the final minutes? Caitlin took it. Defensive stand when the momentum was slipping? She stepped up. She wasn't just filling the stat sheet.
Being mad at myself because I missed the 3 and then I went and hit the backboard, and he told me it was disrespectful to the game of basketball. So I don't know, it reminded me of the technical that I got in college where I said damn it, where it's like a personal frustration. Had nothing to do with my team, had nothing to do with their reffing, had nothing to do with other team. It was just because I'm a competitor and I felt like I should have been making more shots. So but I think he fired me up to continue to play a lot harder. I thought we got a lot better after he did that, so I want to thank him.
She was setting the tone every single night. That mix of cold-blooded talent and on-court leadership is exactly why she became one of the most important players in the entire WNBA this year. And after carrying that weight all season long, nobody should be shocked that she's shutting it down for now. Sure, a lot of WNBA stars jet overseas in the off-season to cash in and stay in shape. But Caitlin, she's choosing the smarter road. No endless flights, no back-to-back grind, just rest. She's made it clear. Her body and mind need time to reset, and she's earned it. Because let's not sugarcoat it. The WNBA schedule is brutal.
Watching Caitlin Clark's rookie season, which is now over. The Indiana Fever knocked out of the postseason by the Connecticut Sun in a 2-game sweep. And so we got to see the carryover from Iowa, transition to the pro game, her ability to help develop a team's cohesion and chemistry. And we saw that work so well as the season went on. Clearly brought like a magnet phenomenal attention to the league, bringing new fans, a committed fan base, not just in her home arena, but bringing fans to away arenas and packing the houses and increasing different venues from smaller to larger because of their presence. It's been.
And for a player like Caitlin, who carries the offense, the defense, and the expectations of an entire franchise, the grind is multiplied. Overseas might sound tempting, but that's just more wear and tear with no real break. Caitlin saw the truth. The toll was real, and stepping back was the only way to protect her long game. Caitlin Clark didn't just skip overseas ball. She also passed on 3-on-3, the flashy, fast-paced version of the game that's been blowing up in popularity. That format demands nonstop energy, both on offense and defense. But Caitlin knew the truth. Her body didn't need another grind. It needed a real reset. Not half speed, not fun basketball, but actual rest. The kind of break that brings her back even stronger next season. And let's be honest, that decision shows maturity way beyond her years. Most young stars feel the pressure to keep playing, whether it's chasing checks overseas or proving themselves year-round just to keep their name alive in the league. But Caitlin's different. She's thinking long-term. She knows that protecting her body now means she'll dominate later. She's giving herself the space to heal up, mentally and physically. So when the new WNBA season tips off, she's ready to wreak havoc again.
Just the fans, her fans, the Iowa fans, now the Indiana fans that are like, they ride for her. And I respect that respectfully, but sometimes it's very disrespectful. I think there's a lot of racism when it comes to it, and I don't believe she's.
But here's the flip side. Part of what fueled Caitlin's frustration this season was the whistle, or better yet, the lack of one. Night after night, she got hacked driving to the rim, shoved on the perimeter, and sent crashing to the floor with no call in sight. Fans couldn't believe it. One of the league's biggest stars getting disrespected like that. And Caitlin knew it too. She expected the same treatment, the same respect that other stars get in this league. Instead, she found herself staring down referees who swallowed their whistles while she picked herself up off the hardwood. That wasn't just bad officiating, it was a pattern, and it left her boiling all season long. Caitlin Clark's final game against the Connecticut Sun wasn't just about the pressure of the playoffs, it was about the same ugly storyline that haunted her all season, the refs. Time and time again.
Second in a row, Clark stays red.
She attacked the basket, took hard contact, got knocked around, and guess what? No whistle. Fans were furious, coaches were shaking their heads, and analysts flat out called it what it was, a pattern of disrespect toward one of the league's brightest stars. And here's where it gets even messier. Usually, big names get the benefit of the doubt. In both the NBA and WNBA, superstars like LeBron James or A'ja Wilson are known for getting those favorable calls when they drive aggressively. That's part of the unwritten code of basketball. But Caitlin? Silence. Even with obvious contact, the refs kept their whistles glued to their lips. The inconsistency was impossible to ignore, and it left fans questioning whether the WNBA has a real problem with how its biggest rookie star is being officiated. But the drama didn't stop on the floor. It spilled into the stands. Midway through that same game, a fan started heckling Caitlin nonstop, trying to rattle her with digs and cheap shots from the seats.
Clark be a good pro? Absolutely. Will Caitlin Clark come into the WNBA and do what she's doing right now? Immediately? Absolutely not. Not gonna happen.
Okay. For most of the night, she locked in, blocking it out like a pro. But eventually, she'd had enough. In a LeBron-style moment, Caitlin pointed the fan out to arena security, and within minutes, they were escorted out of the building. It was a powerful statement. She wasn't just battling defenders and referees, she was standing tall against the noise coming from the stands. And that moment proved she wasn't just playing basketball, she was commanding respect, whether people wanted to give it to her or not. It was one of those rare cracks in Caitlin Clark's armor, the frustration boiling over, the calm composure slipping just enough for everyone to see. And now, with Caitlin officially out of the playoffs, the entire WNBA postseason feels different. The balance of power has shifted, and you know who's probably breathing a little easier? Angel Reese. All season long, The Clark-Reese rivalry has fueled headlines, highlight reels, and heated debates.
If they think it's personal, but when I get between the lines, if friends or anything, if my teammate right here went to play for another team, I'm going to be competitive. I'm going to talk trash to her just because I'm super competitive and that's what we do. But off the court, we're going to kick in and have fun. So I think that's a part of the game, and just trying to normalize, like, trash talking is okay, but not taking it personal off the court. And obviously that has become a thing, and people are just trying to make it seem like it's something. But I love Caitlin, and I love her game, and I admire everything she's done.
They've gone shot for shot, word for word, and moment for moment. But with Caitlin now sidelined, Angel just saw one of her biggest roadblocks to a championship disappear. She hasn't come out and gloated, at least not publicly. But let's be real, Caitlin's absence changes everything for her playoff path. Without Clark leading the charge, the Indiana Fever collapse back into being a non-factor, and that leaves the spotlight shifting to other stars, like A'ja Wilson, now positioned as the last megastar carrying the banner in the postseason. But make no mistake, Caitlin's early exit doesn't just change the playoff bracket, it shakes the whole league. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Caitlin Clark didn't just play basketball this year, she transformed the WNBA's visibility. Fans tuned in specifically for her games, waiting for those logo threes, the no-look dimes, and the fire she brought every single night. She turned highlights into must-see television.
I feel like I would be a really good ref, though, from the side.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't miss the call.
Backseat ref.
The kind of buzz the league has been chasing for years. And now, with her sitting on the sidelines for over 200 days, the WNBA is staring down a massive question. How do you keep that momentum alive without the player who just became the biggest attraction in women's sports? The league wanted growth. Caitlin delivered it. But can they hold on while she's gone? That's the battle every team, and the W, is about to face. Caitlin Clark's absence doesn't just leave a hole on the court, it leaves a hole in the WNBA's spotlight. The Fever without Caitlin aren't moving the needle, and fans know it. Arena seats won't sell the same. TV ratings won't spike the same, and the buzz just won't hit as hard without her logo threes lighting up every highlight reel. The league has been banking on Clark to fuel this wave of attention, and for good reason. Every night she played felt like an event, not just a game. Social media exploded off her highlights. Networks cleared space to run her clips.
In betting odds on being MVP of the WNBA. These people are so disrespectful and so unknowledgeable and so stupid that it gives women's basketball a bad.
And even casual sports fans tuned in just to see what she'd do next. That energy doesn't transfer easily. It followed Caitlin. Now the league is scrambling. Can Angel Reese step into that role? Can A'ja Wilson carry enough of the load to keep fans hooked? Or will the spotlight fade until Clark returns in April? These aren't just basketball questions, they're business questions. Because without Caitlin, the W risks losing momentum it hasn't had in decades. One thing's for sure, fans will count down every single one of those 200-plus days until she's back. And when she does return, the pressure on her shoulders, and the league's, will be bigger than ever. Behind the scenes, the WNBA front office has to be sweating right now. Sponsors signed up expecting Caitlin Clark's star power to keep eyes glued all year long. Now they're staring at months without her on the floor. Networks cleared primetime slots for her games, and suddenly, the league's biggest draw is on pause.
Caitlin Clark! Feeling the three.
That kind of gap doesn't just hurt the Fever. It shakes the business model of the entire W. The truth is simple. Caitlin wasn't just another rookie. She became the storyline. Every ticket sold, every trending clip, every spike in merch sales had her fingerprints all over it. And now, with her gone, the league is scrambling to figure out who can fill the void. Can Angel Reese keep fans invested? Can A'ja Wilson carry the national spotlight? Or will viewership crash until Caitlin comes back? For the first time in years, women's basketball had a cultural moment, and it revolved around one player. That's why her decision to rest isn't just about health, it's about power. Caitlin Clark just reminded everyone that when she steps off the court, the whole league feels it. The WNBA has made big strides in marketing, broadcasting, and pulling new eyes to the game. But let's be real, players like Caitlin Clark are the fuel that keeps that fire burning.
Nicely done to get it inside to Mitchell. Was two have such a great connection, especially.
Without her on the court, the league loses not just a star, but its most marketable, exciting face. And that absence is going to be felt in the seats, on the screens, and all across the culture. Caitlyn's impact goes way beyond points and assists. She's become a cultural icon, someone who dragged brand new fans into women's basketball and made every game feel like an event. Now that she's out, it's not just Indiana fans who feel the loss, it's the entire WNBA. Because Caitlyn brought something different: energy, hype, and a magnetism that can't be faked. Her presence turned regular nights into must-see TV, and her absence leaves a void the league can't fill overnight. But if there's one thing everyone knows about Caitlyn Clark, it's this: she'll be back stronger than ever. Her talent, her drive, her work ethic, untouchable. This break isn't the end. It's the reload before the storm.
Right now, it all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too.
And when she steps back onto the court next season, the WNBA will light up all over again. Fans will be waiting, arenas will be packed, and every highlight will remind us why Caitlyn Clark is the name everybody's talking about. So now it's your turn. Do you think the league can survive without Caitlyn for 200-plus days? Or will viewership take a major hit until she returns? Let us know in the comments. Drop a like, subscribe, and share this video with every Fever fan you know. And don't forget, click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.